Okay, welcome to another edition of Cue It Up with the Q Brothers. I'm
us.
John Quattrucci.
And I'm Ralph Quattrucci.
How you doing today, Ralph?
You know what? I'm doing fine. Thank you for asking.
Why? Whoa, a little dramatic pause there before.
Well, these last 2 weeks, I have to admit, feel longer than most. I don't know why. Maybe it's because there's no holidays. I think the working from home is kind of wearing on me a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling just every day is the same. I don't feel any.
Well, think about people who aren't working.
I can't even imagine. I feel lucky.
I feel like a piece of my brain has been removed from my body, and I feel kind of stupid sometimes.
Oh,
and
you're saying because you're not working, really. You
Yeah.
are, but no, I feel bad for the people who aren't working and have no money.
Oh, well, that's a
And
whole different animal.
That's the one
Yeah,
that I just can't even imagine putting myself in their position.
That's-
So I'm lucky, but it's wearing on me a little bit.
Yeah.
And because I don't see a light at the end of the tunnel at this point. So,
Yeah, well.
but that's a small complaint. Otherwise, I'm feeling great.
Well,
So
that's
Again,
a
thanks for
positive
asking.
way we kick off this podcast, because that's what we do.
I think we just lost everybody, but okay.
No. It's the first 9 minutes. We're good. But they're still here. So this is what I've been thinking about. So I've been watching sports on TV.
Okay,
And,
so-called sports, yeah.
Well, exactly. The only thing I've really enjoyed watching is golf, only because when you play golf, it's like what they're doing right now with no fans, right?
Yeah.
So I can relate to that. But the football, the baseball, all these sports with no fans,
Here's the thing.
it's hard to watch.
Yeah, I'm looking at the baseball like it's a high school game without the crowd. But the football isn't bothering me as much. I don't like seeing those stupid shots they have of the crowds with the guys sticking their face in the.
Yeah.
So I don't miss that. And frankly, football, you can get away with it if you just stay tight on the players.
Well, that's what they're doing, right? They're not showing showing the stands.
I get the stupid crowd noise they're pumping in is a little funky, but
the problem is the Patriots just played Seattle.
Yeah.
And Seattle's got a big advantage at home because of the crowd.
Right.
And that advantage was nullified. And it was really weird to watch it because whenever you see games at that stadium, it's crazy how loud. But anyway, so having
wait 1 second. I'd like to know who they hired. Who's the person? I want to see the behind the scenes of the guy who's doing the crowd noise.
Oh, who they get to create the crowd noise?
Not create. I think they're using video game crowd noise, but that person, he, she, whoever, has to decide when they're supposed to crank it up.
As the game is going on.
Yeah, and sometimes you might hear a boo if a ref doesn't. I mean, that's.
No, I will say they're doing a good job with that.
Not bad, and that's a new position.
I mean, if you don't really pay attention, sometimes you forget there's no crowd there. But it's different with the players. I mean,
I know they don't have the energy, and I'm sure they don't get pumped up.
They're not feeding off that. But anyway, so that's the reason why I wanted to do this a little differently. So the first week we talked about how the podcast got started, a little background, and then the next week we really got into our backgrounds and our family.
That was exciting too.
Well, you know what? We got some good feedback on it, which is I was actually surprised.
From our two biggest fans?
Well, I will tell you that I went over to my folks' house the other day, and I pulled up YouTube on their TV, and we watched both podcasts, and they were both smiling because, first of all, they loved what we were talking about, but second of all, they've never heard you talk quite as much as you did.
Well, I think they haven't. Well, maybe. I think
without alcohol. Without alcohol.
Right. A, it's an easy audience. They're a piece of cake, those two.
Well, that's true.
And B, Mom said, I haven't heard some of the things you said. I just have never heard you say before. Well,
she thinks you made some of it up. But Dad was like, no, this really happened.
No, none of it was. That's all. I tell the truth.
That's right. You are a truth teller.
I'm a truth teller.
So what I wanted to do this week was back to sports because, as you can see, I've moved my location. I'm in my sports bar downstairs, and I'm a big sports guy. Now, and Ralph knows this. Baseball is my sport. I love baseball. I've loved it almost my entire life. I'm a diehard Red Sox fan. I played baseball. My brother Ralph is actually in the Hall of Fame.
That's true.
That's how good he was.
I peaked at 13.
And he won MVP. You did peak at 13. You won MVP, I think, at Fantasy Camp.
We'll talk about that later.
I didn't win. Well, we're going to talk about Fantasy Camp later, but I didn't win squat, but I don't even want to get into that. That's later on. So what I wanted to do was ask you about sport movies, and I want to do it sports movies that you like, maybe a hidden gem sport movie that people might not be aware of, but that you would recommend to watch. And it can be all over the place. It can be any sport. A great, like for instance, one of my favorite baseball movies. You know what movie this is, Ralph?
Is that from Bull Durham?
Obviously, you're not a big baseball movie.
Oh, that's
no.
I know that's
The Natural.
The Natural. Listen.
Roy Hobbs.
Listen. Everybody needs to understand this. When this camera turns on and I start doing these, I forget everything. So already I'm racking my brain trying to figure out sports because we don't talk about what we're going to talk about.
No, that's right.
And we do a little bit. We kind of give a premise, but we don't specific, and everything's off the top. And I forget. Like The Natural is one of my favorite movies. I know that like the back of my. I've used it in videos I've done, and I should have known it like that. So anyway, go on.
That's the New York Knights, Roy Hobbs. So I'm going to get to that movie too because I love that baseball movie. But I wanted to start with you first. Any sport movies that there's old standbys that everybody loves, but along with that, maybe something people haven't heard of before.
Well, I'm not going to be able to pull these off the top of my head.
Well, that's the whole point of it, Ralph, so I need you to.
Well, obviously, we'll just nail number one. Field of Dreams. My kids still look at me and say, we can't watch it with you because you're going to cry when he does that. You want to have a catch, Dad. Okay. Yeah. So, but underrated or not seen a lot. 8 Men Out.
Oh, great movie.
On sales about the Black Sox scandal. Fantastic film. And all these actors in it who were not at the peak of their thing, but young guys who were in that film. Cuting John Cusack and D.B. Sweeney played Shoeless Joe Jackson, and the guy from Walking Dead played the first baseman, Chick Gandalf, Rooker. I think it was Chick.
Michael Rooker.
Just a great film. Michael Rooker.
Yeah.
One of my favorites, and I'm going to admit something here that is going to make me sound like a total weenie. I get choked up. Tin Cup.
Oh.
Okay. Obviously, we know my feeling about Kevin Costner, which that's one of the things that Mom's a little worried about, but whatever.
I promised Mom we'd avoid man crushes this week.
This is okay. So he did a movie called Tin Cup. That scene at the end
where he's dropping the ball,
where he drops the ball 12 times, and Rene Russo is cheering him on. I swear to God, the room gets really dusty, and it makes me cry. And I think it has to do with cry. Like it just chokes me up because he's being such a jerk. And he's just so hard-headed. And her reaction to just hit it on, Roy, the thing. And then when she says to him at the end, he says, I just blew it. I blew it. She just blew it. They're going to forget who won this. Nobody's going to forget your 12 on the last hole. And I just I'm gone. And it's a great golf movie. Ron Shelton, director of Bull Durham as well. I just love that film.
And Kevin Costner could play golf. I mean,
he was a pretty good golfer.
He looked like that's my biggest complaint about sport movies when the actors just don't look like.
Well, look at Tim Robbins, who I love in Bull Durham. Don't look like he could throw the ball.
No, but Kevin Costner could.
Yeah, Costner's an athlete.
Switch hitter. He caught. You could tell the way he threw the ball. But the same thing in Tin Cup. He was actually a good golfer and made a lot of those shots that are in the movie.
Right. He did my other favorite one where he pitches the one hitter or the no hitter.
Oh yeah,
For the Love of the Game, I think it's called.
Yeah, yeah.
Directed by Sam Raimi. Which
right now, the most important thing to me is my doctor, and Kelly Preston's looking at him all sad.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, and of course, Bad News Bears, first one, the original. Okay.
With Walter Matthau, Tatum O'Neal.
That one. I said Field of Dreams, Slapshot, which is a big bane of our existence in my podcast.
Well, it should be because it's
Mystery Alaska.
Oh, I was going to bring that one up
with Russell Crowe and Burt Reynolds.
Yeah, and Russell Crowe.
Sudden Death with Jean-Claude Van Damme. It's a hockey movie.
It's not really a hockey movie.
It's not really. We can't put that in the sports thing. Obviously. Longest Yard, original, Burt Reynolds.
Yeah, not the Adam Sandler.
Right. And Major League, first Major League.
Yep.
I thought was fantastic.
Yeah, and Charlie Sheen could really throw.
He could throw. He was recruited to be a Major League player.
Although they did, I don't know if you knew this, they moved up the mound a little bit.
That's okay.
So he'd come across as faster than he was.
He did.
But he still.
Anyway, those are my few. Football. Oh, I'm sorry, two more from the 70s. North Dallas 40. Nick Nolte and Mac Davis, football film, and the one with Burt Reynolds and
Tough.
Semi-tough. Those
Chris
two, I think, are
Christopherson. Wasn't Chris
Chris Christopherson. Yeah,
Yeah.
those are my 70s picks for sports
North
movies, which I
Dallas
really
40, the scene I remember that sticks in my head is at the very end when Mac Davis throws the ball to Nick Nolte, and Nick Nolte just goes like that and let it hit the ground.
Yeah, they
That's what I
say.
remember about
I mean,
that
that's
movie.
written by obviously an NFL player. It's most realistic depiction of how those
Yeah.
guys are treated.
Well, they were shooting up the whole game.
Well, that whole thing,
Yeah,
the drugs and everything, and the way they treated the players, and the coach in that is fashioned after the Dallas Cowboys coach Tom Landry, analytical computer guy. It's a good film, and it's written by an ex-NFL player, so it's pretty real. Anyway, what are yours?
Well, as you can see, The Natural, because it's really, I wouldn't call it a true baseball movie, but it was more of like a fable.
Mm-hmm.
And Robert Redford chose number 9 because of Ted Williams, lefty swing. I thought he was a little too old for it, but the way it was shot, like I think Glenn Close never looked more beautiful.
Oh yeah,
than in that movie.
That scene where she stands up and the lights behind her.
Oh my God! And the ending, which is different from the book. In the book, he strikes out.
Oh really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. And Randy Newman of Short People fame did the score for that movie. And always that last scene with the blood, and he hits the ball out of the park, and it hits the lights, and the sparks are going everywhere, and he's running around the field, and you hear that music.
Yeah.
It's
a fable. That's a fable.
It's a fable, exactly.
Right.
And he looked like he could play too, again, which is, I like that. Bull Durham, obviously. You already named Major League. I like Pride of the Yankees with, not Lou Gehrig, with Gary Cooper, who played Lou Gehrig. It's actually, for an older movie, it's actually a really well done, because they did William Bendix. I don't know if you know who he is, but they did the Babe Ruth story where he hit a home run and killed a dog. And had to bring the dog to the hospital. It was just ridiculous. And the guy didn't look like he could play either. But The Pride of the Yankees is a really good movie.
Is that the one, too, where he couldn't bat left-handed?
Yeah.
So they flipped it around and reversed the film?
He was a righty, and they reversed the film and put all the uniforms backwards.
Right.
So instead of running to first base, he ran to third base.
Yeah, because that was a big problem with I was listening to the commentary track of Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
And Ray Liotta didn't play it. He played it the opposite. Right. And the director was like, I kept getting these letters. And he's like, hey, this movie's about ghosts and corn, and you're going to worry about that? Give me a break.
Exactly.
He can be any position he wants if he's coming back as a ghost. Who cares?
And that scene where he almost took out Kevin Costner.
That's legit.
Was unscripted.
Yeah.
So that just happened. And it was like, Kevin Costner played it perfectly. Yeah. Okay. And he gets up, and Ray Liotta gives him that look.
That's my guy. Kevin Costner's my guy. That's why I'm telling you.
Well, because he's such, back then especially, he was so athletic.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like Major League, Tom Berenger, who I really liked in the movie, just didn't look like he could play.
No.
I like 8 Men Out. Those guys look like, most of them, not the pitcher, as Seacott. He didn't look
David Strahan.
David Strahan. With the way he was throwing, but the other players really look, because they were so young.
I think they were like playing too. When you listen to that track, I think I have that one too. They all played baseball. They were playing like games.
Oh, really?
A ball. Yeah, those guys all were having a ball.
Well, they definitely looked like they could play. Yeah. Although Michael Rooker looked kind of awkward at first base. But that's my one complaint about sport movies is.
Oh, if you put someone in that can't
just
play.
Don't even attempt.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's right. It looks fake, right?
Takes you right out of the film. Kelly Lee could.
But I love The Longest Yard.
I'm sorry, Longest Yard. Yeah.
Kelly Lee and Bad News Bears.
Yeah, he could throw the ball.
Who was it? He's in. And Tatum O'Neal could throw. She could pitch.
Yeah.
I mean, that was for real.
Yeah.
So I like that. But there's 2 movies I want to talk about that are most people haven't seen. In fact, one of them, I think I've seen it once, and it was a long time ago. I don't even know it's available anymore. It's a film called Long Gone, and it was made in 1987, starring William Peterson and Virginia Madsen.
Oh, yeah.
1950s Tampico Stogies baseball team.
I've heard about the film.
They get a black player, and they say his name's Jose Brown. So he's from Mexico. He's not black. It's really, really well done. It's funny. William Peterson's really good in it. And the ending, it's got a typical, it appears to be a typical sport movie ending. that completely does something that no other movie's done to win the game. Spoiler alert, they win the game, but it's how they win it that's so funny. It's really good, and it's a period piece that's really well done. And the other one is, and I've only seen this movie once, it's a golf movie called Dead Solid Perfect, made in 1988 and starring Randy Quaid before he went insane. It's a really, really good golf movie.
Really?
And if you get a chance to see either one of those, I recommend them highly.
That's
really,
the first
really,
one's called what? Long Ball?
Long Gone.
Long Gone.
Long Gone. It's got a theme song.
Okay.
And the other one's Dead Solid Perfect.
Okay.
In fact, there's an actress in it. I can't remember her name. It's the only nude scene she's ever done, Ralph, where he bet her she wouldn't go get ice naked. So she leaves the hotel room, walks down the hallway, gets the ice, walks back to the room. Only nude scene she's done in her career. And when I looked it up on IMDb, all the reviewers were talking about that.
Oh, really? And does he play a golfer?
Yeah, he plays a golfer, a hard luck golfer who's trying to get a sponsorship. Jack Warden plays his sponsor.
Okay. Well, he was pretty good in another sports movie called
Don't you say Caddyshack 2.
No, the bowling one.
Oh, Kingpin. Well, he was great in Kingpin. I didn't even think about it.
Bill Murray at the end of that movie bowled those 3 strikes. Legit.
I know. I don't call that a sports movie.
That's a sports movie. There's bowling in there.
That movie a lot.
Speaking of bowling, there's a great documentary called League of Ordinary Gentlemen. It's a documentary about bowlers. It's pretty good.
About the PBA tour?
Yeah.
Really?
With some of the classic guys. The guy who does the chop, what's his name? I can't. He invented the bowling chop.
I don't know a lot of PBA.
But anyway, Randy Quaid was pretty good in Kingpin.
He was great in Kingpin. Oh yeah, when he comes out of the refrigerator.
But yeah, that's a sports movie too. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, that is. I don't really call that a sport movie.
You're frozen. You're freezing up every now and again, but we'll fix that.
I'm trying to think of, I don't know why. And I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. There's a documentary on Netflix about this team he bought in Seattle, and it was a minor league team.
Oh, is this Kurt Russell's father?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good doc.
That?
I've seen it.
It's called the Unlucky something.
It's got a crazy name, but it's done. It's based
incredible.
On. And Kurt Russell played on that team for a little bit, I think.
Well, but he hurt himself. He ended up hurting his knee or something.
Yeah.
But it was a bunch of anybody could try out for this team. That was the whole thing. Anybody. You didn't have to be a ball player. And it started making money, and then they started the higher ups didn't like that because he was. I guess Kurt Russell's dad was. In fact, Kurt Russell's dad is one of the guys in the scene in Magnificent Seven at the very beginning when Yul Brynner and Steve McQueen ride the hearse. The salesman, the 2 salesmen that gave him the money for it, one of those guys is Kurt Russell's dad.
Well, his dad owned the team, or was he on the team?
Owned the team. Owned it, yeah. And he bought it for short money, but he made it successful.
We're forgetting about one of the classic tear-jerking sports films ever made in the 70s. Brian's Song. The original. There's a new one.
Yeah, because Gale Sayers just passed.
Yeah, that's a tearjerker. That was a tearjerker back when I was a kid.
The original. I will tell you. I will tell you that I think the only movie I watched and cried, and by the way, that was a TV movie. That was not a theatrical movie.
Brian's Song, right?
Was that movie? That last scene when he's on the bed, the hose is coming out of his mouth, and it was James Caan, by the way.
Yeah, James
and Billy
Caan.
D. Williams.
Yeah.
And then Gale Sayers does that speech at the end. Oh my God! I'm glad you called that out, especially after he just passed.
Yeah.
So that was a great sports movie. Well, what makes a great sports movie? I mean, what? Because you see what? Did you like Miracle?
Yes. Yes, but I like the documentary about that better. There's a documentary about that, which is better. The other one is we didn't even talk about The Sandlot, which, honestly, I'm going to admit something here. I've never seen it, but I know. I own it. I've never watched it. Everybody raves about it, and I listened to a podcast about it, and it made me want to watch it again. I never watched it, and I should. But what makes a great sport? I love people. Obviously, I like people winning the big game. That's always a nice,
Oh,
like
well, we didn't
in
mention
Major
Rocky.
League.
We
Or
didn't even mention Rocky.
well, yeah, it's okay. It was great. Rocky's great. Can't deny it. Sports movie was great. But like in a great ending. Bad News Bears, they don't win the game at the end,
Right.
and it's still a great ending.
Yeah.
Just being
Take that trophy and stuff it up your ass.
They couldn't make that movie. Now they tried to with Billy Bob Thornton. It just wasn't the same. Yeah, I want to see, like, Tin Cup is so good because he just overcame some. I don't know, that one's different because he doesn't win anything. It's just, I just love his attitude. But like Major League, they win the game.
Well, they won the pennant.
Right.
You don't know if they won the World Series because that was kind of good the way they.
Oh, the other one. What about Jimmy Fallon?
Oh, Fever Pitch.
And the only reason that's so great is because they actually were there when the Red Sox won in 2004.
Yeah. In fact,
I mean, I didn't love the movie, although Drew Barrymore's a dream. Who doesn't love Drew Barrymore?
Well, that's funny because that was the first time that I saw her that I was thinking, oh, my God, this girl is so adorable.
Adorable.
And as an adult, not as a kid.
No.
And I was like, wow, where'd that come from?
And actually, Jimmy Fallon, who I don't watch his show, I thought he was pretty good in that. Playing the Boston guy.
Yeah.
But mostly the people around him, those are like people you sat in with your. We have to tell the story about my friend visiting Fenway Park at some point when my friend Tom, you remember that?
No.
I called you and I said, hey, my friend Tom's been to a lot of baseball stadiums. He's never been to Fenway Park, and my brother John has season tickets. And I said to Tom, hey, let me give my brother John a call. Maybe he'll give you a ticket. My friend Tom happens to be a Yankees fan. And when I called you, I didn't mention that.
No,
and you said, let Tom, I got an extra ticket. He can come to this game. So I say to Tom, you got a ticket for you, but you cannot tell him you're a Yankees fan. Because if you do that, he'll get pissed and you get people around him.
And by the way, these seats were 8 rows behind the dugout.
Right. Okay? So they're right there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Tom goes and visits. I get a call from my brother. Jesus Christ. He goes, 7th inning. The kid turns to me and tells me, I can't lie to you. I just want to let you know I'm a Yankees fan. Ralph, don't ever do that to me again. Nobody can. I'll never let you.
It's not that I hate Yankee fans. No, I do.
Yeah.
I can't even say that. No, I just was so upset because Ralph knew and didn't tell me.
I did, but I told him not to say anything.
Yeah, well, he couldn't keep his mouth shut.
I mean, how stupid is that? Not him. How stupid are you for getting upset about him being a Yankees fan?
Why? Yeah, that's stupid. But hiding it from me isn't.
I'm not going to lie. He could have been more honest, but you never would have got in.
You knew he was a Yankee fan.
He never would have got in. So anyway,
it doesn't matter.
So yeah, good films. I mean, they're all like The Natural. He overcomes his odds. All of these things, you can break it down. I can't think. Well, Bang the Drum Slowly didn't end well. Brian's Song didn't end well.
But it told a compelling story.
Yeah. Oh no, they got me, both of them.
I think the reason why I like baseball movies so much is that because we played. I mean, we played our whole lives.
Okay, Little League, but yeah.
No, but it doesn't matter. I mean, we played all the time though. Like back in the day, because my dad was our coach, we had all the equipment. When we weren't playing Little League, we were out playing with all our friends.
Right.
It wasn't like you had soccer and basketball and all this other stuff. We played baseball and then we played baseball. We were the Sandlot.
Right.
Except
and
we had
wiffle ball tournaments, all that stuff. Yeah.
Wiffle ball. So that's why for me, I always felt like, I can relate to that guy because I've played it. I mean, played, but football. I played football one season. It was Pee Wee football. I was a very small kid, so the knee pads went down to my ankles. Okay, and I originally did make the team, and I was. You don't know. I went home that night. I sat next to my bed, and I thank God that I did not make the team because I hated football. They kind of made me play because my brother was really good, my brother Steve. I get a call 2 days later that they've decided that everyone who tries out gets to make the team. I don't want to be on the team. And so I said, okay, if I'm going to be on the team, I'll play. So one day in practice, I'm running away from the ball. Wherever the ball is, I'm running away from it. And this kid named Sean Kelly, and all I could think of back then was he was 6'10", okay? I'm sure he wasn't because I think I might have been 10 years old. He bowled me over like I was a feather, and I went flying. And I remember going home and telling my dad, I'm going to play baseball.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be playing any football.
I had zero desire to play football. I
didn't want to play it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at my father, again, we talked about this last week. He used to film the games. And I was on the bench for 3 quarters and a third. And then they'd put us in at the end if we were way ahead or way behind. But every time they show me, I'm running away from the ball because I don't want to get hit. And if you saw me, you wouldn't want me to get hit, believe me. But baseball, and I think you love, is baseball your favorite sport, Ralph? I don't want to.
Now?
Yeah. You're probably not as big a fan as I am.
No. I'm
But
definitely not a fan. I'm not. I mean, I'm a fan, but I'm not a fanatic. If you know what I mean. No, I mean, no offense, but I'm not. I don't freak out about it.
It sounded kind of offensive.
Well, I mean, fan is short for fanatic. That's all that means.
That's what Dad says. You just sounded just like that.
Okay.
That
could be worse things, I guess.
Our love for baseball comes from my father.
Yeah, and your mother. Well, your mom was a hockey freak.
Yeah.
Bobby Orr, hockey freak.
Yeah, Bobby Orr, the big bad Bruins.
Right.
But I remember Dad. So our father installed boilers. Okay, that's what he did, and it was hard, dirty work. But I remember he would come home from work, and we would play pickle. We would play hit the bat.
Yeah.
We would just play catch for like 2 hours after he worked all day, every single day.
I could never live up to that with my kids.
Well, you think about that. Well, let's be fair. They've got other distractions.
Well, they did, but I could never do what he did or Mom did, all the Little League games, all the stuff they did. Yeah, that's obviously we got our love of baseball through them, or sports through them.
But what's funny is
Mom taught me tennis. It was Mom who taught me tennis.
We didn't go to a lot of games with them.
No.
As kids.
No.
In fact, we didn't. I mean, you went more than I did, but I went to a few games when I was a kid. But as an adult, I went to a lot more. And then when I met my wife, her company had season tickets, and she worked for the head guy. So the tickets would come into her. This was starting in, I think, 98. So she would get all the tickets, like that scene in Fever Pitch when the tickets come in.
Right.
She would get them and distribute them. And because she was doing that, we got to pick games that we wanted. So we went to opening day like every year for 25 years.
Well, and then you had that great run starting in really 2003, but really 2004 on.
Well, and that's my whole, I don't know if you can see the wall, but this is a tribute to 2004 because for me, that was the single greatest sporting event in my life was when they won the World Series.
Well, that was my longest week. I happened to be working that week with a New York Yankees fan. And actually, ex-wife, Dawn, huge Yankees fan. I remember dropping Dylan off at a soccer game when we were down, when the Red Sox were down 3-1 or none. And you're frozen. And
3-0.
Wait, they were down 3-0. You're still frozen. There you go. You caught up. And I dropped Dylan off, and I just said to Dylan, it's easy to be a Yankees fan. It's hard to be a Red Sox fan. Don't worry. We're going to be fine. And
that's what you said?
Yeah. And I had the great. That's when I also discovered Bill Simmons, who was writing about it in the thing. And God, the end of that week when they won, it didn't matter. The World Series was the icing on the cake.
The World Series was anticlimactic.
When they beat the Yankees that last game, I threw up that night from drinking champagne all night. I never throw up. I never get sick.
When they won the World Series, I was traveling, and I was alone watching the game. I mean, it was probably perfect.
Because the Yankees game or the World Series?
No, the World Series, the final game of the World Series. Because I just sat there in the end of the bed, and I just remember thinking, I cannot believe this just happened. I can't believe that.
No, it's shocking.
Because even when they were up against, when they were down 3-0 to the Yankees, I don't care what anybody says. Nobody thought they were going to win.
No, they were written off.
Win a game. Just don't embarrass us. Win.
Yeah, well, the rest is history. We don't have to do this. People.
I know, but that for me was a big.
Well, that started it all. And then the Patriots won in 2001. What was the first year they won their Super Bowl? With Tom Brady?
That was 2001.
Yeah, so 2001, right up until last year, we were just rolling in riches of sports stuff. So it's hard for people to even care that we're saying this.
Well, there are kids born. There are kids born who don't know that Boston doesn't win championships.
They're going to be in for a sorry.
And they don't know what we all went through. I mean,
Patriots was pitiful.
Patriots was awful. And
I don't know. This is not any sportsman. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. What else?
So
What else you got?
I'm trying to think of some other movies. I know we're forgetting movies. In fact, if you guys subscribe, hit the notification button, hit the like button, leave a comment on what movie are we forgetting that maybe meant something to you? Because it doesn't always have to be the underdog wins. Because
we could go through. Okay, you got Any Given Sunday. Any Given Sunday.
Yeah, that was okay.
Rudy.
I like the way that was shot.
Rudy,
I loved.
Hoosiers.
Oh, okay. Great movie.
Okay.
I love Hoosiers.
Ben Affleck just did one where he plays an ex-alcoholic who coaches a high school team for redemption. It's all about redemption for Gene Hackman, redemption for him. But Hoosiers is one of the greatest films ever made. Breaking Away.
Oh, yeah.
Bicycle movie.
That's
Oh,
not
my
really
God.
A sport movie, though. I don't call that a sport movie.
That's a sport. What do you say? Bicycle's not a sport?
Dennis Quaid.
Right. Early Dennis Quaid, the kid from Bad News Bears, Kelly Leak is in there. I can't think of his name. He's in Watchmen. That guy that plays the guy in Watchmen.
Bruce Davidson's. Oh, no, not Bruce Davidson.
No.
Who's the lead in that?
The guy who plays the guy with the mask.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, Rorschach.
I can't think of the actor's name. He's great.
I can't believe I'm drawing a blank.
I'll look him up.
But I think if you get into these sport movies, like, have you been to a sport movie where people in the crowd just go nuts? Like they know the outcome or whatever, and they just go crazy?
Well, Rocky was the biggest one.
I didn't see that. The reaction
everybody had.
I never saw.
You mean like they get excited, like they're actually watching?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea. No, seriously, I don't know. If somebody reacted in a sport.
How about that TV movie, The Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders? Do you remember that one?
I don't remember that.
Jane Seymour.
Is that an actual movie?
Yeah, she was a reporter doing an undercover story about the cheerleaders. She wanted to say that they're a bunch of bimbos, and she found that they weren't. That
of course. Redemption. It's all about
redemption. Yeah.
Jackie Earl Haley. I'm sorry, Jackie Earl Haley.
I couldn't think of that.
You're in all our favorite films.
Yeah. Oh, he was great as Rorschach.
We should move on from this because we could. I guarantee you, there's a list of 20 things we've missed. Sports movies. You haven't even talked about the Jimmy Pearson story or the.
I'm sorry, the Jimmy Pearson story.
Isn't that one with
who that is? Oh, Jimmy Pearsall.
Pearsall. Did I say Pearson?
Yeah. Why don't you take that hat off?
Anthony Joe Hopkins. Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins.
No, Anthony. What's his name? Psycho. What's his name?
Climbing up the screen. Yeah, Anthony Hopkins. I'm sorry, Tony Perkins.
Tony Perkins. See?
Yeah.
Terrible.
You got me all screwed up when you said Pearson.
Anthony Pearson.
All right, so I thought that would lead us to our next discussion.
Oh boy.
We always bring it back to
us.
What you and I do.
Always bring it back to us.
So and I don't know what year it was. Was it 99 the first
We did. How many times did we do this?
We went 3 times.
That's what I thought.
So the last time we went was 2001, the year I got married.
No. I have a 2008.
2008?
Yes.
Oh, so 2001 was when Dad went.
Right.
So Ralph and I. So
what are we talking about? Went where?
The first one. Okay, so Ralph and I went to Red Sox fantasy camp.
Okay, that's people are going. Did they go to rehab? Where'd they go?
No,
Red Sox fantasy camp.
Although, I mean, I'm not even going to get into that. So I always wanted to go to Red Sox fantasy camp, and I found a group that does it. And I said to Ralph, I go, look, Ralph, I'm going to go. I really don't want to go by myself. Would you like to go too? So Ralph and I go down there. Now, at the time, I think, Ralph, you were playing baseball. And
I was playing over 30s baseball, yeah.
Were you playing softball too?
Might have been. But I was mostly playing hardball.
Okay, so I was playing
baseball.
Softball. Okay. I was playing softball. And so we were relatively young. I mean, youngish.
Yeah, youngish.
So we were in pretty good shape.
Thought we were, yeah.
We thought.
Right.
Okay. So we go down to camp. We do the tryouts. We get on the same team. Who was our first coach? Was it Drago?
No, Drago was when Dad was there. So I don't know who the coach was.
I think it was Bill Lee. That first year was Bill Lee. So
maybe.
So
I know the guy was nuts, but I loved him.
Well, and he was a great coach. He was hilarious.
Yeah, that's right. We had Janice on our team, right? Janice, was that her name? Janet.
Good
ball player. Good
Yeah.
ball player.
We had a pretty decent. No, we didn't have a good team. We lost.
We lost everything.
I think no, we won one game and we celebrated like we won the World Series. But here's the
that
thing.
was the year. That was 2008.
No,
Okay.
that was not 2000.
They're all melted.
We were in great shape.
And that was the dad year.
That's the
Whatever.
year.
It doesn't matter.
2001 was the dad year.
Okay.
So anyway, let me get back to what I was trying.
Speed this up.
After the third day, we couldn't walk.
Right.
I mean, our legs, it was like the Tin Man.
Yeah.
Could not walk.
It was brutal.
Taking hot baths every night. I couldn't stretch it out. He couldn't stretch it out. So our parents show up. And I don't know if did your
Nope.
no, that was the next one.
Mm-hmm.
My wife showed up too. And we're in the field in agony. But we were also two of the younger guys on the team. So they always wanted us to pinch run for the older guys.
We were running for everybody.
We couldn't move.
Yeah.
It was awful. Now, so we went again in 2001, except this time we brought our 67-year-old dad.
Yep.
So we couldn't get my other brother, Steve, to go, which was a bummer. But it was me, Ralph, and my father.
Yep.
And it was pretty incredible.
Yeah.
At one point, Ralph was at first, my father was at second, and I was at shortstop. So the three Q brothers, the three Quattruccis, were on the field at the same time. Now, my dad did have a fielding percentage of 0.0 because the only ball that came to him, it went by him, and I got it.
Right.
But
the guy could still hit at 67.
I think you both won. Well, he went against a pretty tough pitcher. He went 3 for 3.
Yeah.
But it was just surreal.
Yeah, he and I both won MVP awards that year, which they gave out like candy. Did you get one of those that year? I don't remember.
Well, what Ralph doesn't know is
I don't think you did.
They gave them out to elderly players who didn't drool, and if they felt that
John, jealousy is an ugly thing. Please don't bring it up. It's ugly.
it just wasn't pretty.
Okay.
So then the last year we went,
2008.
it was the best.
Yeah, but what happened that year?
Well,
that started the fantasy camp.
I don't know what happened.
Oh, you don't remember the dinner the night before we started fantasy camp? What major sporting event was playing that night that we were all videotaping? What year was that?
It was 2008.
What year was it? Patriots were what? Undefeated that year?
They were undefeated.
And what happened? Oh, David Tyree caught a ball on top of his head. I'll never forget that first day after that dinner. It felt like a funeral procession. Nobody wanted to be there.
Yeah, it was awful. That night
was awful. But we had a great team that year.
Well, we did. We were stacked, and Ralph and I knew what we needed to do to get in shape. Baseball.
Well, I don't know if I told you, but I was on that airplane sitting next to the guy who eventually became our manager.
Oh, the tall guy?
That guy, I forget his name.
Yeah,
the guy, by the way, he's the one who blew the game.
For us.
But I'm on the plane. I see his giant ring. I said, "Are you going to the fantasy camp?" Yep. I start talking to him about the thing, and that's how we ended up on his team.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he knew me from the airplane. So when he sees our name come up, he puts us on that team, and that team was stacked.
Well, Bill Lee was pissed.
Yes, Bill Lee wanted us on his team.
I knew I should have taken you guys.
Yeah. I have some. We'll see this in the video. I have some great stills of me and Bill Lee.
I needed the Q boys. So the last time we went, we were a stacked team. We blew through all the teams. In fact, I think we lost one game. So we end up in the championship.
We lost no games.
I thought we did.
Maybe one.
I think we lost one game.
Yeah.
So we go to the championship
because we had a stud pitcher.
Oh yeah, wasn't he a cop?
He's a cop from Salem, Massachusetts,
and he could fire.
He could throw BBs, and that's the thing in this fantasy camp when you're playing with all old people. You throw a pitcher up there that can throw a strike down the middle. Forget about it. Yeah. The game's over.
So,
except our coach decided not to put him in.
Well, we had two pitchers really,
right?
And one guy was really good. Another guy was pretty good. Well, he starts the pretty good guy in the championship, and we're playing, by the way, in the. It was the Twins. No, it was the Red Sox stadium. So we're playing in the minor league park for the championship. He decides he's going to put the second best pitcher in. Well, this guy walks everybody. He gives up 4 runs, I think, in the first inning. Yeah. I think that's what it was. We end up losing by that score. I think
and to be fair, their pitcher, who wasn't a BB thrower,
throw jump,
was a pitcher.
Yeah.
So he knew how to pitch to us. He knew how to throw us away. So we'd hit pop-ups. He was pretty good. Can't take that away from them.
No, he was good.
he brought our second guy in, the good guy in, just too late.
Who no-hit them.
Right.
Once he came in, he no-hit them.
It was over.
So the other thing was we only scored 2 runs, and I knocked them in. But in the newsletter the next day, Ralph Quattrucci knocked in the only run. I'm like, okay, now here's the kicker in this. Yeah, we were bummed out we lost because you're going to get a replica of the World Series ring, so that was pretty cool. So in August, they're inviting all the fantasy campers a fantasy day at Fenway Park to watch the Red Sox. So what we find out is the championship team gets to go on the field and gets awarded their rings. Right. We didn't know that. And I'm like, oh, my God, my dream come true.
Yeah, it would have been. We did get to play in Fenway, though. We played in Fenway.
The other thing we got to do as part of this fantasy camp, we actually got to play ball at Fenway.
2 innings. You couldn't run on the infield. I don't know. There was rules about.
It was unbelievable because I'm in the outfield. We were outfielders.
Sniffing the grass.
We're diving. A ground ball comes to me. I ran up to the wall and slammed into it just because. And I was there going, Ted Williams played this position.
Right.
You know? So it was pretty surreal.
Well, we started in the bullpen, remember? Just futzing around in the bullpen. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. But the year we went with Dad.
Yeah, that was special.
Because a lot of the players came back for that one. And they were B players, by the way. They weren't the superstar, the Red Sox players.
No, but they were the fun guys. You remember who the biggest a-hole was?
Well, yeah. I don't want to say their names.
There was a big a-hole there who's on this, by the way, this autographed bat that's got a lot of good, people on there.
Well, you know what's funny about that?
Carl Yastrzemski,
Dwight Evans,
Al Bunbury, which I don't know why he was at a Red Sox. Did he play for the Red Sox for a while?
No, he was a coach.
And then this guy right here, who's now in the Hall of Fame.
Who is that? Jim Rice?
Yeah. Do you remember when we walked up to him to talk to him?
Well,
he wasn't very nice to us.
Well, the last time we went, so when I was done, and I learned this from the previous camps, I got on the treadmill after we were done all day to stay loose. Every day, Jim Rice was next to me, running next to me. So we would talk. It was very pleasant. So the last day of the camp, we're leaving. And my brother's there. I said, hey, Ralph, I want to get a picture with Jim. Come on over. Hey, Jim, do you mind if I take a picture with you? Yeah, I do. Me and Ralph are laughing. No, seriously, do you mind? Yeah, I do.
Yeah, get away.
I was like, wow. Okay. Now, look.
In fairness, he hadn't been in the Hall of Fame at that point. He's probably a lot nicer now.
Well, it's funny because the not superstar players were personable. Yeah. We would have bars.
Oh, my God.
Beers with him in the bar.
Drago was a blast.
Bill Lee.
Butch Hobson.
All of them were great.
Center fielder. Who is that?
Rick Miller.
One of the guys I used to watch all the time.
Yeah. Like Carl Yastrzemski was there. And what's funny about Carl Yastrzemski, when we did a little clinic out in the field, couldn't have been any nicer because he's talking about baseball, right? He's talking about his stance and what he used to do. But when he had to go in and sign autographs, you could tell he just didn't want to be there. And you've got people there who are just fanboys, right? Who, like when I was growing up, Carl Yastrzemski was it for me.
Right.
And and Dwight Evans too, who I absolutely love. But I overheard him say, I got to be here because I got a personal contract with these guys. And I'm like, I kind of get it, but it was a little.
Yeah, but then you got Drago's drinking with us at the bar.
The other guys.
Bill Lee drinking with us at the bar. And that last night, you feel like you're leaving all your best friends.
That's right. It was very friendly with them, and they used to bust our chops, and we could bust theirs.
I have two great memories from all 3 years of that. There's a lot of memories, but two that stand out. One was when the first year in the locker room, there's Johnny Pesky, completely naked, scratching his sack, talking about Ted Williams. And I'm like, okay, if this doesn't say baseball, I don't know what does.
No, wait, what they used to do is a group of people would say, Johnny, tell us a story. So there'd be 8 guys around him.
Balls out, everything.
And he's just grabbing him.
Jesus Christ. Scratching his. And
but
then
he was great. He was great. Johnny Pesky.
Oh, no. And what was the other thing he did? Remember?
Bungos in the outfield.
John and I are standing in the outfield, and we're looking at each other going, Johnny Pesky is hitting us fungo fly balls. What the hell is going on?
And we would catch one, and he'd go, oh, you got that one here. Boom, right over our heads.
All right, and the other memory, because every year they would let us play against the players. Right?
Yeah.
So there I am, lefty, and I'm looking. It's Bill Lee pitching. I go, oh my God, Bill Lee, who could strike me out. I know if he just threw a fastball, I'm done. What he does is he throws a curveball that literally starts at my head, and I dive out of the box like an idiot, and the thing just floats right in as a strike. And he is laughing his ass off that I would flop. Now what I'm expecting on the next pitch is he's going to throw me a fastball, and he's going to, that's it. He threw me the same pitch. You know what I did? I stood in, and I hit it to the shortstop, and I was able to beat it out for a single.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I went with it, and I did what I was supposed to do, and he was laughing the whole time. I loved Billy. As a matter of fact, in 2008, I had him autograph a couple of his famous, this book called The Wrong Stuff. That's him dressed as a spaceman. And then he was a complete communist, right? He went to Cuba all the time to play baseball. Yeah. So it's this little red book, and he signs everything the same, which I just loved.
What, Earth?
Yeah, Earth. And then he writes Bill Lee, Earth, and then the date, 2008.
He signed a baseball for Mom.
Yeah, that's the thing. So I had Louis Tiant's World Series ring on my finger with a picture next to Louis Tiant. Yeah. Mom was in love with Butch Hobson. There she is, big smile with Butch Hobson.
Butch Hobson was in love with Mom.
Well, whatever it was.
Louis Tiant really liked her.
Yeah. So we had, and Bill Lee would always point us out and say the Q brothers. It was so much fun. They really made you feel like you were part of it.
Yeah. And we were, like I said, we were really in shape that year. So we were running for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, every time we'd be running around the bases and we'd get in the dugout huffing and puffing. Hey, Quattrucci, why don't you get up there?
Need another one.
Oh, my God. So I got in trouble because I was playing center field, and a much older guy, I don't know if you remember this, a ground ball comes out to me in the outfield. Yeah. I come bombing in. I look up, and he's halfway to first base, not even close. I throw it to first and throw the guy out. And in the kangaroo court, he got busted for getting thrown out by the center fielder. I felt terrible about that, too.
They were mad. I remember that. They were pissed.
But you're not even thinking. I'm just thinking, I got the ball. I'm looking up. He's there. I'm going to throw it. And we won the Twin Towers Award. Remember that? We won that big trophy. Yeah, you gave me the trophy.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, of course you don't.
What did we win that for?
For just at the end, they gave a bunch of awards out. MVP. Of the thing. We got the Twin Towers.
I probably gave you that because you didn't get an MVP. I felt bad, I guess.
I deserved the MVP.
Maybe. That's not the point. You didn't get it. I made one for you. I remember I made a fake one. Fugazi MVP.
He did.
Anyway, those three, and the one with Dad was that. And frankly, Mom showed up. Rose showed up.
And your
soon-to-be third ex-wife showed up. She was fun.
And if I remember, oh, no, I can't say that.
Yeah, she was hanging out with people, having a great time.
Does Abby watch this?
I just remember Bill Lee and all these guys coming up to me going, what the hell?
How about Joe? Remember Joe?
I do. The Irish guy?
What did Joe say to you?
Joe was like, something's wrong here. You're going to
get away
from
that one. She's nuts.
This is before I was married, too. Anyway,
it was before you were married.
Long story short, it doesn't matter. That was
the first time Mom and Dad met Abby.
Yes.
Right? That was the first time they met her.
No, I had so much fun at those. And the thing is, you get there and you kind of looking at this. There are people who are there every year, and they come off as kind of fanboys. I mean, there are guys 15 years in a row. They know everything. They know all the players. By the time you leave, you're hugging those guys and loving everybody as if you're part of that crew too. It was so much fun.
Well, you're playing so much baseball.
Yeah, it's a lot of baseball.
You're going out and hanging out in the bars with all the players.
Well, and you're being treated. You walk into the locker room, there's beers everywhere. You got people that can massage your legs. You're treated like a ball player. Oh, and the other year, the 2008, we were there. Remember John Lester was down there training?
Oh. John Lester just got diagnosed with cancer.
Right. I just couldn't believe how big he was.
Yeah.
Like, it's just huge.
That's funny that you say that. So we the last year we're in the batting cages, and I'm in the cage, and I'm just nutting the ball. I'm just hitting these beautiful shots, and I'm just thinking, oh my God, I am so good. All of a sudden, all the minor league players who were also there at the same time, the real minor league players, they go into the batting cage. You hear them hit the ball. It sounded like little bombs going off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, my God, I suck.
Well, the other thing I learned is you just realize, it's luck and it's genetics. It's all kinds of things. Obviously, these guys train very well. But you look at the hands on these guys. Now, Bill Lee could play any sport he wanted to play. That guy is an amazing athlete. He's still playing now, I think. I still think he puts teams together and goes all over the country. And the Rick Burlesons and who was the catcher? Rich Gedman was there one year. And you look at these guys and you realize, wow, there's a reason they're doing what they do because they're just built for it. So when I saw John Lester, you're looking at, but you see Pesky, this little dude.
Right. Yeah, but he wasn't the norm. Like Dustin Pedroia isn't the norm.
Right. No, I got it.
Ralph and I, what are you, 5'? I'm 5'8". You're 5'8", Ralph?
No, I'm 5'6", 5'7".
So these guys are 6'2", 6'3".
But it's the hands, too. You look at the hands and you're like, oh, my God.
So you feel – listen, it was great to go out there and play, and it was really an unbelievable experience. You know, we went three times. Right. So that tells you our love for baseball. I think about it now. Like I stopped playing softball. I can't remember what year it was, but I pulled both groins, black and blue, a calf muscle, and I'm like, yeah, it's probably time to hang it up. But there were guys playing that were in their 60s and 70s.
Yeah, I was playing right up until about 5 years ago. I'd still play. It's just it took too much time. And, you know, part of the reason I quit was the guys still treat it like they're in high school.
Well, that's kind of silly.
And I just was like, I just don't care that much. So then I got into golf, and then the bowling took over, and now it's all that stuff. But I miss playing baseball. I miss every once in a while I pull the glove out. I do that stupid thing where you put it against your face. And because a lot of great memories. I mean,
I just oiled up my glove like Dad taught me.
Yeah, I
did that.
Yeah.
So last year I played softball for the first time on a friends league. I said, listen, if you need a guy, I want to play. He goes, all right. So these guys didn't know me at all. They didn't know if I could play or not. So they go, listen, we'll put you in the field. You got to sit the first inning. So I get up, I hit the ball. Beautiful. Next inning, I go out in the outfield. I'm in right field. A ball goes to the right center. All I do, I take 2 steps to back him up. And my calf just popped. And I go limping in. Now, I could still bat, and I went 3 for 3, but I had a limp to first base and have a pinch runner. And I said to the guy, I go, look, I don't want to screw up my golf game because I play golf now. Yeah. I can't do it. I mean, I just can't do it.
It is amazing how quick it can go.
Oh, my God. It was quick.
The worst injury I ever had, I never got hurt in baseball. I decided one year to try street hockey, like an official street hockey league. Big mistake. And I was playing with a bunch of guys, and we're playing a league we had no business being in. And it wasn't rollerblades or anything. You're just running on feet.
Yeah.
But my friend Tim had this idea that he's ambidextrous and he could play with any side. His stick was straight. And the last thing I remember is he comes running over me, flips his stick around, and my foot hits his stick, and my leg goes straight up, and I popped a groin muscle like I've never popped in my life. It was the most painful thing I've ever experienced. And just like you, so it took about 6 months to heal, and I go to play my first baseball game. I hit the ball. As soon as I turned to go to first base, popped it again.
That's what happens.
And there weren't enough players, so I had to stay at first base and play first base. I had to stay. I was normally center fielder, but they put me at first base. But we're too old for this shit.
Hey, since you said that, since you brought up street hockey, do you remember the rinks Dad used to make?
Yeah.
So we used to have this giant ice skating rink in the backyard, and he created his own Zamboni with a plastic bucket with holes in the bottom and a squeegee. With hot water. We had lights, and everyone in the neighborhood would come over. Well, so I'm in goalie one day, and and we're using a regular puck, right, that the hockey players use. Someone takes a slap shot. I don't even know how old I was, maybe 12, 13. Someone takes a slap shot right off my shoulder. Like, it felt like a bullet, okay? And I'm whining about it. My father's like, quit it. You're a baby. Get up there. Get up there. Okay, fine. So my dad gets in goal. Someone gives him a slap shot. Next day, we got the little orange pucks. You know, the little rubber ones that don't hurt?
Yeah.
But that thing, I mean, we used to play for hours.
Yeah, and that's why Dad and I could never compete with what he did. Like, I've tried to do stuff for the kids and all that. What he did and what Mom and Dad did.
Well, I was going to say the both of them. I mean,
it defies any logic.
Remember all the Little League cookouts they used to have?
All of it. I'm just saying all of it, including going to all the games. Remember, Mom fell off the back one time, the back of the stands.
Yeah.
They've been, drove us everywhere. I could never do for my kids what they did. And that's enough of that. We don't have.
That's a big part of why we love sports.
Yeah, they foster. I told you, Mom is the one who taught me tennis.
I don't remember her playing tennis.
I'll never forget. She taught me tennis, and I love tennis, and it's because of her. So, and
Wow.
Patty and Maria both, our sisters, I don't know why we didn't invite Patty and Maria to the fantasy camp. Patty would have kicked ass in that fantasy camp.
You're right about that.
She would have beat us all.
I think she was a little pissed we didn't invite her.
I think she might have been, and probably should have been.
But don't you wish Steve could have gone just one time?
I would have been great to have the whole infield filled out like that. Yeah,
that would have been pretty unbelievable. But what memory?
All right, well, I think we've
I know
overstayed our welcome here.
Okay.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
And again, I'm sure I'm going to remember 17 sports movies as soon as this is done. But yeah, and see, I just froze.
Well, that's not my fault.
That's all right. I can cut to another camera. See, you can't do that.
So that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed this little sports sidetrack. I did talk to Steve Ralph about maybe getting on next week's show.
Okay, another brother. I want to see what other names are on this.
There's
Dick Drago right there.
Yeah. Louis Tiant.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else.
Yeah, remember Brooks Robinson came to the first one?
That was
why he was at a Red Sox camp.
Picture. Yeah, I got a great picture of me and Brooks.
Yeah, there's Louis right there. I love Louis Tiant. Yeah,
but those guys, the beautiful thing about all those guys, you gave them anything, they signed it.
Right. All right, so Steve is going to join us. What's this? We don't know the subject.
I don't know.
Beautiful.
Good. I gotta think about that. Maybe get something from him. Maybe something he wants to talk about.
Okay.
But this was fun. I appreciate the look back on memory lane. Yep. So, great job. Sorry about the freezing up a little bit.
Well, I'll try to edit as much as I can out of it. We'll be fine.
But everybody, thanks for watching again. And hey, leave comments. Let us know what you think, or give us something you want us to talk about. Whatever. All right. Everyone, stay safe. Have a great week.
All right, John. Have a good week. Bye, everybody.